Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatī
Tato Jayamudirayet
Tato Jayamudīrayet
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhagavati Uttamasloke
Bhaktin Bhavadir Naistiki
Bhaktin Bhavati Naistaki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devagī Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopakumaraya
Nandagopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, text number 30. The canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation and the chapter name is The Cause of All Causes. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Vaikārikān mano jajñe
Vaikārikān mano jajñe
devā vaikārika dasa
devā vaikārika dasa
dig-vātārka-praceto
dig-vātārka-praceto
vahnīndropendra-mitra-kāḥ.
vahnīndropendra-mitra-kāḥ.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Vaikārikāt,
Vaikārika,
from the mode of goodness.
from the mode of goodness.
Manaha,
Manaha,
the mind.
the mind.
Jajñe,
Jajñe,
generated.
generated.
Devā,
Devā,
demigods.
demigod.
Vaikārikā,
Vaikārika,
in the mode of goodness.
in the mode of goodness.
Dasa,
Dasa,
10. Sorry, Dasa.
10.
Not Dasa. Dasa. Dasa, 10.
10.
Dig,
Dig,
the controller of directions.
the controller of directions.
Vata,
Vata,
the controller of air.
the controller of air.
Arka,
Arka,
the sun.
the sun.
Prasitaha,
Prasitaha,
Varuna.
Varuna,
Asvi,
Asvi,
the Aśvinī-kumāras.
the Aśvinī-kumāras.
Vahnī,
Vahnī,
the fire god.
the fire god.
Indra,
Indra,
the king of heaven.
the king of heaven.
Upendra,
Upendra,
the deity in heaven.
the deity in heaven.
Mitra,
Mitra,
one of the 12 Ādityas.
one of the 12 Ādityas.
Kāḥ,
Kāḥ,
Prajāpati Brahma.
Prajāpati Brahma.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinda A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation, please repeat behind me. From the mode of goodness,
From the mode of goodness,
the mind is generated
the mind is generated
and becomes manifest
and becomes manifest
as also the
as also the
10 demigods
10 demigods
controlling the bodily movements.
controlling the bodily movement.
Such demigods are known as the controller of directions.
Controller of directions.
The controller of air.
The controller of air.
The sun god.
The sun god.
The father of Dakṣa Prajāpati.
the father of Dakṣa Prajāpati,
the Aśvinī-kumāras,
the Aśvinī-kumāras,
the fire god,
the fire god,
the king of heaven,
the king of heaven,
the worshipable deity in the heaven,
the worshipable deity in the heaven,
the chief of the Ādityas,
the chief of the Ādityas,
and Brahmājī,
and Brahmājī,
and Prajāpati,
and Prajāpati,
all come into existence.
all come into existence.
Purport. Vaikārika is the neutral stage of creation, and tejas is the initiative of creation. While tamas is the full display of material creation under the spell of darkness of ignorance, manufacture of the necessities of life in factories and workshops, excessively prominent in the age of Kali or in the age of machine, is the summit stage of the quality of darkness. Such manufacturing enterprises by human society are in the mode of darkness because factually there is no necessity for the commodities manufactured. Human society primarily requires food for subsistence, shelter and sleeping, defense for protection, and commodities for satisfaction of the senses. The senses are the practical signs of life, as will be explained in the next verse. Human civilization is meant for purifying the senses, and object of senses self-satisfaction should be supplied as much as absolutely required, but not for aggravating artificial sensory needs. Food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification are all needs in material existence. Otherwise, in its pure, uncontaminated state of original life, the living entity has no such needs. The needs are therefore artificial, and in the pure state of life, there are no such needs. As such, increasing the artificial needs, as in the standard of material civilization, or advancing the economic development of human society, is a sort of engagement in darkness without knowledge. By such engagement, human energy is spoiled because human energy is primarily meant for purifying the senses in order to engage them in satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the supreme possessor of spiritual senses, is the master of the senses. Rishikesha. Rishika means the senses, and Isha means the master. The Lord is not the servant of the senses, or in the other words, he is not directed by the dictation of the senses, but the conditioned souls or the individual living entities are servants of the senses. They are conducted by the directions of dictation of the senses, and therefore material civilization is a kind of engagement in sense gratification only. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification, and one can do this simply by becoming an agent for satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord. The senses are never to be stopped in their engagements, but one should purify them by engaging them in the pure service of the sense gratification of the master of the senses. This is the instruction of the whole Bhagavad-gītā. Arjuna wanted, first of all, to satisfy his own senses by his decision not to fight with kinsmen and friends. But Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa taught him the Bhagavad-gītā just to purify Arjuna's decision for sense gratification. Therefore, Arjuna agreed to satisfy the senses of the Lord, and thus he fought the battle of Kurukṣetra as the Lord desired. The Vedas instructed us to get out of the existence of darkness and go forward on the path of light. Tamasima Jyotirgamaya. The path of light is therefore to satisfy the senses of the Lord. Misguided men or less intelligent men following the path of self-realization without any attempt to satisfy the transcendental senses of Lord by following the path shown by Arjuna and other devotees of the Lord. On the contrary, they artificially try to stop the activities of the senses, yoga system, or they deny the transcendental senses of the Lord, jnana system. The devotees, however, are above the yogis and the jnanis because pure devotees do not deny the senses of the Lord. They want to satisfy the senses of the Lord. Only because of the darkness of ignorance do the yogis and jnanis deny the senses of the Lord, and thus artificially try to control the activities of the diseased senses. In this diseased condition of the senses, there is too much engagement of the senses in increasing material needs. When one comes to see the disadvantage of aggravating the sense activities, one is called a jnani. One tries to stop the activities of the senses by the practice of yoga practicals, he is called yogi. But when one is fully aware of the transcendental senses of the Lord and tries to satisfy his senses, one is called a devotee of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord do not try to deny the senses of the Lord, nor do they artificially stop the action of the senses, but they do voluntarily engage the purified senses in the service of the master of senses, as was done by Arjuna, thereby easily attaining the perfection of satisfying the Lord, the ultimate goal of all perfection. Om Dasa. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnanāñjana-śalākaya Chakshurmilitamena Tasmai Śrī Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu-pādāya Krishna-prasthāya Bhūtale Śrīmate Bhakti-vedanta Swami iti namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pāśāśya Desha Dharane Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today's sloka, it is again the discussion between the Brahmājī and Narada. So Narada asked the question about this creation and Brahma is giving the answer. So this is referred by Sukadeva Goswami when Parikshit Maharaj asked about the creation. So he is referring what Brahma and Narada discussed about this creation. So Brahma, he was step by step, he was explaining how this creation happened. Till the previous sloka, we discussed that how the 5 elements got created. Now, the next step. So today's sloka, so how the mind got generated, our mind. So the Brahmājī is explaining from the mode of goodness, the mind is generated and become manifest. And also it is saying that, he is saying that the 10 demigods controlling the bodily movements, our bodily movements are controlled by the demigods. Those demigods also getting generated, getting created in this. Because the mode of goodness, they are getting generated, mind and the demigods. So the demigods, who are the demigods, is the controller of the direction. So, and the controller of air, sun god, the father of Dakṣa, Aśvinī-kumāras, fire god, Indra, the heavenly king, Indra, and the Upendra, who is the worshipable deity in heaven, and the Ādityas, the chief of the Ādityas, Brahmājī, Prajāpati, all are coming into the existence. So this is the way the creation happened. So only till this point, after this material, the 5 elements are created and the mode of the false yuga was there and 3 modes were there. Then 5 elements were there. After the 5 elements, what is happening? Now the mind is get generated and all the demigods are getting generated. This is the explanation from the Brahmājī sloka. In this sloka, Brahmājī is explaining to Narada Muni. And see, in Sanskrit, there are multiple meanings for a single word. So, if you see the mode of goodness means we will think that, okay, sattva guna. We will say that sattva. Sattva means mode of goodness. So that is, sattvam is the Sanskrit word. Here it is mentioned that vaikārikā. So vaikārikā also it is mentioning the mode of goodness. So there are multiple. See, one word can have the multiple meanings, and that the same multiple words can have same meaning. So this is the beauty of Sanskrit. So we have to constantly at place and circumstances, the word meaning, everything will be changed. So we need to. That's why we are reading every day the sloka and the word by word meaning. At least we will get some understanding how the words are placed and what is the meaning of that. So here, Prabhupada is in the Purport. Prabhupada is explaining about this material creation. See, the material creation, the entire creation, it is created by the Lord. It is not for the sense gratification. So this is the place the Lord created to understand, to repent. So the living entity to repent. Okay, I am placed in this situation. So I am staying away from the Lord. My original position is staying along with the Lord. That is my original position. So to understand that and to re-establish the connection with the Lord and to repent, and then we clear our karmas, then we go back to God. That is the purpose Lord created this material world. But because of our ignorance, what we are doing, because the Kali Yuga, it is full of darkness. It is the Iron Age. The Kali Yuga is called Iron Age. It is full of ignorance. So in the full of ignorance, what we are doing with the Iron Age means everybody, we are creating factories, machineries, so many machineries we are preparing. We are proud of our all the advancements. We are sending the rockets from here to there, here to moon, here to Mars, and we are preparing to go to sun. So many advancement we are doing. So in the name of advancement, what we are doing, we are going away from what is the original purpose of our life. So if you see in such a way, the original purpose of life is different, which is to realize ourselves. But what we are doing, we are trying to exploit this material world. We are experimenting this material world. We are using our creativity. Our mind should be engaged in the service of the Lord. How can I serve the Lord? How can I go back to God as early as possible? That should be the thinking always should be there. But because of this material, the Kali Yuga Prabhava, all of us are getting covered by this darkness. So that is the reason we are, once we born in this material world, by birth, everybody is Shudra in this material world. As per the Shastras, in the Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudras by birth. Shudras means they don't know anything. The person who is living in the mode of ignorance, that person is called Shudra. So they don't know what is the purpose of life. They don't know, they cannot do they may not so much attracted to do that. So we were in that mode. So that's the reason we are increasing our material needs day by day, we are increasing our material needs. Maybe some 100 years back, nobody construct big building or the cement building or the molded building. They used to live in a simple house. Initially, the people used to live in the hut. They used to, what are the naturally available? The leaves of the coconut tree, palm tree, with that leaves, and there is a grasses. With that, they used to make a hut, small hut, and they used to build a house using the mud. And there's simple living. They used to stay whatever they'll get the bamboo stick. With the bamboo stick, they will make the ceiling, and bamboo stick they will make the door. They used to live happily in the small house. They won't think about increasing their material appearances. They will think about that. Okay, the people who are connected with some guru parampara, some gurus, they can understand. Okay, this life is not to increase our material needs or not to satisfy our senses. The life is for satisfying the sense of the Supreme Lord. They understand that, so they used to live simply. So, but day by day, the invades happen, Mughal invades happen, and the British invades happen. Because of that, we attracted by the material advancement. So there is not, we cannot say it's a material advancement, it is a degradation. Because we attracted, because our mind is always attracted negative things easily. So that is the reason we attracted by the material things. So we forget our roots, and whatever they were doing, we adopted that. Today also we are thinking that if something newly it is coming in America, then our people also they will wear. So initially the jeans and all, jeans pant we are wearing here. The jeans pant, it is used by the people who are working in the ships and who are working in the machineries, because there are so much dirt will come, so much oil, grease, everything will fall. So for that, they used to wear the jeans. Later, that became a fashion now. So everybody wearing the jeans. And also that jeans is good for the people who are living in the cold condition. But here in the hot condition, in India, people, they are wearing, so we are also wearing the same thing. And now the fashion is, they tore their dresses, and they are wearing the torn dresses. We are also tearing our dress, we are wearing. That is more costly now. Earlier, that who is wearing the torn dresses, we are calling them as beggars. Now everybody is roaming around the road. If you see most of the people like beggars only, they are wearing the torn dresses. So we lost our rich culture. We deviate from our cultural path, and we adopt the degraded culture actually. So that is the reason all the problems are happening in this material world. So our original purpose of this life is not to increase our material needs. Whatever the material needs, whatever the thing is required to keep our body and this soul together, only that much material, but only what is required. Only that much we have to use. Otherwise, in the scriptures are saying that the person who is accumulating more than necessary, the wealth, that person is called a thief. That is the Aśvinī-kumāras saying that that person is called a thief. We'll call them as a thief. Then we will think, how can I say that we are a thief? We are earning the money, we are purchasing everything, we are leading a proper life. How can you say we are the thief? Because we are giving so much and we are purchasing this more than what is needed. So we cannot say as the thieves. This is the argument of the people who are in the ignorance. So originally, what is required, minimum necessity of our life, only that should we should aspire for only that thing. Okay, we need one shelter to live, we need a food, and we need the production. Only that much is enough to lead a life in this material world. But because of our greediness, what we are doing, and maybe the last 30, 40 years, all of us are running behind money. We are trying to become Ambani. So we are comparing ourselves who is above ourselves. We are comparing with ourselves with them. And okay, they are going on the Benz car. Let me get at least a small car. We are also going to get a car. I also get a big house. I also need land, this, that. I also wear so much of jewels. I also need a bunch of diamond. So all these are artificially, we are increased our necessities. But these necessities are not at all required for our, that's what Prabhupada is saying, that all these machineries, all these factories, it is not at all required. So our original requirement, what is the ultimate goal? What we are doing? Ultimately, we are working in the big ships, we are sending the rocket, this and that. Finally, what we are doing, what we are getting, we are getting little money from that, and using that, what we are doing, finally we are taking some food, some clothes, some shelter. Finally we are using this money, whatever we are earning, we are using only for that much only. And as per scriptures, I told that we are called as thieves if we are accumulating more than necessary. So that is scriptures of Upanishad saying that the person accumulating more than necessity, that person is called thief. Yes, where is the thief? Because Lord provided all the material appearances we are seeing. We saw all this creation created by the Supreme Lord, how it is manifested. So every living entities, everything around us, everything is created by the Lord. So everything belongs to the Lord. Lord is the proprietor. So he allowed us to stay in this material world. So we need to use what is necessary for us only. If you are exploiting because of our ignorance, what we are saying, we are trying to exploit the material world and we are trying to accumulate more and more because we don't know what is our goal of life. Because we are in the mode of ignorance, we are not understanding what is our goal of life and what we need to do in this material, using this body, human body, what is the purpose of this human body, everything we are not aware. We are in the mode of ignorance. Because of that, all this material way of exploitation is happening. So the original our position is Rishikesha Sevanam. That is Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktin Uchati. So that is the sloka. It is mentioning that what is the purpose of life? Rishikesha Sevanam. Rishikesha. Who is the Rishikesha? Rishi means that is the senses. Isha means the master. The master of the senses. Who is the master of senses? The Supreme Lord. He is the only master of senses. All of us are servant of our senses. We are serving our senses. Hey, if I wanted to see something, hey, I wanted to see mobile. So late night also we'll sitting and see, we are watching YouTube, this and that, shorts, this and that. We are continuously we are seeing. We are leaving our sleep also. We are not understanding, okay, tomorrow I have to wake up early, I need to chant. Okay, little late also I can wake up. I am interested, very much interested in watching this YouTube. Something is going on. It is giving pleasure to my eyes and is pleasure to ears. So let me watch that. So our senses, they are hearing, seeing, smelling, taste, touch. These are the senses. So what we are doing, we are serving, simply our entire life, we are trying to serve our senses. I want to smell the fragrance. I want to see the things, whatever in front of me. I want to, which is giving the gratification to me, to my senses, sense gratification. Always we are engrossed in our sense gratification. I want to hear the melody song, beautiful song, rock song, different people have different taste. And I want to eat palatable, very nice food for my tongue taste to satisfy my taste buds. So we are the servant of our senses. We never going to become a master of senses, because the master of senses is the only one person who is the Rishikesha, who is the Supreme Lord. But by connecting with the Supreme Lord, we can also become a master of senses. But the person, only the very, very intelligent person can only adopt that path, who can understand the purpose of life and what is the purpose of my, why I born, why am there are a lot of calamities are going around me, and what is the purpose of my life. When the intelligent person, one can ask these questions, and where to go, what is my destiny, what is my destination. There should be a purpose. The Lord is creating something, means there should be a purpose. So in the human being not created, what is the purpose of it? Is not we just simply I'm eating and while working, I'm eating, sleeping, mating, defending. All those activities are doing. But all the animals are doing the same thing. Why there are so many different animals, different plants, and different aquatics and different human? Why 84 types of species are created by the Lord? All these questions will arise only with the intelligent person's mind. Only that person can understand the purpose of life. Then they will understand why this purpose of life is not to enjoy. This purpose of life is to make ourselves perfect and go to our original position, go back to God. That is our purpose of life. So only that person is called, we'll call them as a Goswamis. Go means again the senses. Swami means who master over the senses. Those people are called Goswamis. So why they are calling as Goswamis? Because they connected themselves with the Lord. Even though they are staying in the material world, they connected through their intelligence. They understand the scriptures and they understand, they do their sadhana. What is scriptures are saying, they are following that. Because of that, they connected themselves with the Lord. So because of that, they are not addicted to their senses. They are master of their senses. That is the reason we are calling them as Goswamis. So the original purpose of this life is to leave our sense gratification and to understand the Lord and how to connect with the Lord and how to go back to the material from this material world and not to come again in this material world. That's why it is widely explained in Bhagavad-gītā. See, initially Arjuna was with a sense gratification mode, and also he was speaking like a learned man. Like, okay, if I kill all those people, I will get the sins, and all the women become widows, and children will be, they don't have any father if I kill all those army, and there is no social activities will happen, because the army people, they used to build a bridge and other building and constructing a building, all those activities, that everything will stop, and I will get the papa also. So why I need to fight? So this is the question of Arjuna, because he was in the ignorance, he was not into, he don't have the understanding of why Krishna is saying to fight. Then Krishna gave the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā. If you read the Bhagavad-gītā from starting to the end and understand completely, then we can understand what is the purpose of life and who are we and what we need to do in this material world. So the Bhagavad-gītā spoken by Krishna only 45 minutes to Arjuna. Then Arjuna understand that, then he ready to fight for Krishna's sake. Krishna's desire, Krishna wanted to eradicate the miscreants from this material world. So that is the reason Krishna taking avatar. Krishna always come to this material world. Supreme Lord taking the avatar means, the purpose of the avatar is to paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya satsvitam dharma samasthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, to protect the sadhus and destroy the miscreants and to re-establish the dharma. That is the purpose of the Supreme Lord, to come into this material world. So Krishna's purpose is to kill the miscreants who are deviated from the dharma, and to re-establish the dharma only he came. Because Yudhishthira is the follower of the strict follower of the dharma. So Krishna's desire to give this kingdom in the hands of the person who is following the dharma. That is the reason Krishna appeared here, and he desired to kill all the miscreants, the Kauravas, and give the kingdom to Yudhishthira. That is the purpose of Krishna's appearance. So he did that. So for that, he asked Arjuna to fight for Krishna, not for your sense. Don't be sense gratified and work for me. That is the knowledge he gave through Bhagavad-gītā. So Arjuna did that, he became victorious. So we also need to follow what is the scriptures are saying. If you read Bhagavad-gītā, our ignorance will go off from us, and we will we can go out of these three modes also. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. We can go out of this also. That is a Sutta Sattva stage. It is a transcendental. In English, we'll call it as transcendental stage. Sutta Sattva. We can go to that stage. In that stage only, we can connect with the Lord. So, in order to go out of these three modes, we need to understand the scriptures. We need to follow the scriptures. Then we can go out of these three modes of nature and we can understand the God. And Krishna Prabhupada is explaining that about jnanis, yogis, and devotees. There are three varieties of people. The yogis, yoga practice, the jnanis, they don't understand the Lord. They will think that simply I'm doing the yoga and controlling breathing, I can liberate myself. Jnanis, they are just mental speculators. They are thinking that, okay, I have so much of knowledge about this material world, so I cannot accept the authority of the Lord. So because I'm not seeing the Lord, so Lord is not exist. So this is the understanding of the jnanis. So jnanis and the yogis, they cannot liberate from this material world. Only the devotees who know the truth that Lord is the controller of everything, Lord is the creator, Lord is the maintainer, Lord is the controller. So what our original position is to serve the Lord, to go back to the Lord is our purpose in this material world. Only that person is called devotees. Only devotees know the purpose of life. That's what Prabhupada is explaining in this sloka. And also in this sloka, we are coming to the end of this sloka. So in the end of this class, so in this sloka today we discussed about Brahma discussed with Narada that how the mind created and how the other demigods are created that come into the existence. So that is the Brahmājī explained to Narada. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.